Dave Filoni gave a couple interviews promoting Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, and he has given some interesting hints. I have a list of 6 quotes from these interviews, one of which suggests there will be a higher ranking villain than Thrawn in Season 4, a spoiler about the Lothal region, and movies and shows that have influenced Season 4. So stay tuned for all of that. So let's get right into it here. First quote from Dave Filoni from these news articles starts by saying, "There are some big time explanations and reveals that are unlike anything I've done. And there are also other levels of weirdness that I've added to make up for that fact." The mention of weirdness in this comment is a little concerning for me. It was, something that Dave Filoni also mentioned in his interview with the Star Wars show. Weird doesn't seem like the right word for Filoni to be using when promoting a show. And I think it speaks to the fact that he's tried something really new here and that he's damn nervous about it. I know one of my commenters, Ward, is going to be suggesting that this season connects probably with the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars, and I could definitely see something like that happening, but, regardless, I'm looking forward to discovering whatever this weird thing is. But there's much more to take away from these interviews, so let's move on to point number 2. If you watch Rebels from the very beginning, Filoni says, you'll think that here's this kid Ezra, and the main problem, is that the Empire has taken over his planet Lothal. The promise seems to be that at the end of all this, he will find a way to rid his world of the Empire. But we know that the Empire builds the Death Star, builds another Death Star, and they don't really get destroyed until Luke does it. I believe he's talking about it in the Return of the Jedi, when the Emperor is finally defeated. And he goes on to say, how in the world does this kid find any kind of victory in the middle of all this conflict? What does he consider victory? How is he going to use his powers? Now, personally, I'm thinking we've already had hints from the poster that the Empire is going to attack Lothal. And I think this may have some sort of connection to how Kanan and Ezra should be fighting as Jedi. You can look forward to an in-depth video coming out about this theory soon, But moving on to number 3, Dave Filoni names a few of the shows and movies that have influenced Season 4, and he suggests Close Encounters has the same sort of flavoring, kind of magic and mystery that Season 4 does. Raiders of the Lost Ark. We also have Never Cry Wolf and Princess Mononoke. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And, we've already seen how this convoy ambush in Heroes of Mandalore was inspired by Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I believe these connections will be pretty subtle. I may at some point put together a video on the topic, but as I'm a father of 3 and have another one on the way very shortly within the next couple weeks, I may not actually find the time. So a fourth point that Filoni brings up is Thrawn's connection to Lothal will keep Governor Arinda Price in the picture. She's invited Thrawn and his fleet to the planet to help with the rebel problem, and that isn't working out like she thought it would. In a lot of ways, Price thinks that she brought Thrawn in, so Thrawn works for her, but she's completely underestimating this guy because he never sees it that way. You really get in Season 4 that she answers to him. Everything that was hers on Lothal and everything she thinks she had control of is now under Thrawn's direct command, Filoni says. And I'm sure this isn't sitting well with Price. Could we see her help the rebels defeat Thrawn in the end? Maybe, but I think she'd rather side with Krennic or Tarkin. She is power hungry. Dave Filoni has also confirmed that Rook will be somewhat like his Legends character, saying some things will always have to be a little bit different because of the story we're telling, but he is very much a devilish assassin. So the question is, will he try and kill Hera or just capture her? But before you comment to tell me, I have 2 more quotes from Filoni, and I've saved the best from last. The first of the 2 from Filoni starts with, from Thrawn's perspective, the way he looks at things, though the rebels in the end got away, it was a very tremendous victory for him, Filoni states. Of course, he's talking about the end of Season 3. He broke their plans of attack, and he left them incredibly weakened. His hold, this is probably a spoiler, but I'll tell you anyway, his hold on the region of Lothal is almost total. It certainly looks like he has total control over the region to me from what I've seen in the trailer. But could Dave mean more than military control? He also mentioned earlier about how Price, a governor, basically works for him now. That seems a little bit extreme. But could there be even more than that? Let me know in the comments below after, of course, you listen to number 7, in which Filoni states to the Daily News that Thrawn's still the one that is watching over the rebels, right? He's their main competitor, which is different. They've never done that before. However, Filoni also hints that there's a bigger villain lurking in the shadows. Who is the villain? Surely this villain isn't Rook. It must be Vader, who I'm 99% sure is coming back for season 4. In fact, I have a video to prove it. I'll have it linked up above. So question of the day, guys. Which of these news bites do you think is the biggest coming from Dave Filoni? Let me know in the comments below. Super pumped to chat Star Wars with you guys. Also, remember, I just created a Facebook page. I have a ton of photos up there of all the things that Steven Stanton sent me, guys. I have a lot of signed or autographed, signed and autographed pictures like this up there. I got this shirt from him. I got Admiral Radis here. So lots of pictures up on the Facebook page. He even sent my kids some, some toys, some Star Wars toys. So very grateful for Steven Stanton. All I had to do to enter that contest was follow him on Twitter. So check out the Facebook page, hit a like on there, and follow. I have linked on the page Steven Stanton's Twitter. So make sure you follow him, and you too might be able to win a great prize with of the autographs. Also remember, guys, the baby is coming soon, so there may be an interruption to the schedule, especially in the episode reviews. If the baby comes around an episode, it's going to be tough to get that out on time, so I apologize ahead of time if that does happen. Just stay tuned to social media, and I'll be tweeting out probably if that is going to come out a little late. As well, if you haven't already, please head on over to the Force Within TV channel and hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, may the Force be with you.